There's something I want to address with regards to how we relate to the conflict in Ukraine quickly. One of the things that has really disturbed me is to see a lot of people that have been very sensitive, demure, shy during peace times have now started to call for war and the killing of Russians, or like kill Putin. There are these kinds of very dramatic, violent, aggressive, hateful messaging coming from so-called nice people. And so here we have a conflict, a war. It's a serious war. A lot of people are very activated by this. And we're being faced with this energy in the collective that we have no capacity to hold in our nervous system. And we are seeing the consequences of that playing out, as so-called peaceful, nice people are becoming violent, at least in their language. But I want to address this because this is the point at which we need to be really careful that we don't start seeing people getting radicalized. This is the point where we really need to be firmly committed to staying in our center, I believe. In times of great chaos, we need to commit to sovereignty, to being a harmonizing force in the world. I'm really also very, very disturbed by how it's not allowed to actually bring nuance into this. The mainstream has made up its mind and is in this kind of Disney-like good guy, bad guy scenario, almost like we're watching an action movie. Much like actually watching movies in my childhood, where it was incredibly stereotyped. And there was some glamorous, glitzy, handsome American hero slaying the dangerous Soviets. So where did trying to find understanding and empathy go? Isn't that what we have been championing in the West for decades? There is only one way to avoid war, and that is to try and understand the interests of the so-called enemy. To realize that they're human beings too. And so, of course, they have interests that are dear to them. This partiality, this compartmentalization, where we think that the way that I see the world and the things that are important to me are the only things that are important. That kind of thinking, I think it's time for that to go. And I'm disappointed in how many people are very taken by this and enamored by this selfish, like my way or the highway thinking, as they were up until recently, at least superficially, championing diversity, progressive values. It doesn't seem to be so popular anymore. See, these values are being battle tested right now. And if they don't matter in a time of conflict, they don't matter. Anything that only matters when things are easy, they don't matter. Any values that I hold when I'm comfortable in my home, but not when I'm being challenged on them, they don't matter. They're not actually my values. Right? So be careful now. I say this to myself as well. But let's be careful now that we don't let this influx of the warrior energy in the human collective completely hijack us, right? Because that's so easy now. And when, as I said, when I don't have the circuitry to hold that energy, because I haven't been assertive in my life, I haven't had boundaries, I've been a pushover, then yeah, I'm going to be taken by the shadow of the warrior archetype, either becoming a sadist or a masochist. And that is the road to violence. Yeah, it is. That is the road to violence. So that's something that I think we all need to look really carefully into now in our own lives, so that the way that I relate to what is going on in the world and the way that I am in contact with the warrior archetype internally is at least somewhat healthy. So that's really all I had to say, and I hope you're doing well. Spring's arrived here outside of Stockholm, and I'm really happy about that, and I'll see you next time.